Alrighty. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Today, we're talking Drive New to Brand Growth with AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud. We're going to be exploring powerful strategies to target high value audiences and achieve 10%, maybe more, new to brand growth on Amazon. So let's jump in and look at our agenda. All right. First off, we're going to introduce ourselves, who we are, who's here on the call, but also give you a quick introduction to who XMARS is. We're going to talk through some of these AMC best practices, especially around new to brand growth. We're going to actually show you some actual brands and success stories that they've driven with these strategies. And then we're going to pull up and do a live demo. And at the end of this session, we're going to do a Q&A. So if you have questions during the session, feel free to drop those in the chat and we'll address those at the end, or you can email us afterwards as well. All right, so who's here? My name's Ashley. I'm the manager of client success here at XMARS, which means that I get to work with hands-on with our clients, people that are actually running their advertising, agencies, brands, all the above. Where did I begin my journey? Well, I'm just like you. I've worked hands-on keyboard, right, in advertising in the e-commerce space. Started off by selling my own products on Amazon several years ago, and then transferred over to an agency. And actually, I have spent the last 6 years working on the brand side. So helping grow e-commerce sales, scale global advertising and marketing strategies across the board. And actually got introduced to XMARS while I was on the brand side, and was really blown away with a lot of the features and opportunities that XMARS was unlocking. In fact, to be honest, I had a lot of heartache over time and energy that I put into trying to figure out a lot of these problems or adjustments I've been making in my advertising that once I learned about XMARS, I was like, oh, I could have saved so much time, or I could have found the answer to these questions. And one of those was actually how to effectively track new to brand sales, especially for sponsored products. So that's a bit about me. We'll talk a little more about that. I'll pass it over to June.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. My name is June Choi, Senior Vice President here at XMARS. I actually was at Amazon when sponsored ads just launched. So I've seen kind of the entire trajectory, the evolution of retail media, all the way from the start of sponsored ads to where we are now with innovations like AMC. So it's been really exciting to see kind of the growth of the overall industry. So that's a little bit about me. I also want to talk about XMARS for those that may not know about us. We are a global company with over 400 plus employees. We have global offices in basically every single major market. And we have customers in every single major category on Amazon, from small to some of the largest companies, CPG brands in the entire world. From the tech side and kind of the partnership side for us, so we actually won the last year's Technology Innovation Award in terms of what we've done with our technology, with our AI around sponsored ads. And we're actually a finalist, which was recently just launched or announced very recently this week. We're a finalist for the Technology Innovation Award again this year, as well as the Beyond the Funnel. So it's really exciting to see the momentum, the overall growth of XMARS, of our technology, of kind of our brand awareness and our partnerships. So I'm excited to kind of walk you through and kind of talk you guys through all of the things that we've done, and then obviously the AMC best practices around new to brand growth. So I will pass it back to Ashley here to give a little bit of insight into AMC.
Yeah, perfect. I love hearing about our awards and what's coming up for us. And a lot of that does tie back to Amazon Marketing Cloud. But exactly, let's step it back. What is AMC? What is Amazon Marketing Cloud? Well, it's a secure, privacy-safe, high-tech data control room. This is something that Amazon launched a little while ago, where essentially you are the data scientist. You get to mix and match different data ingredients, your customer insights, advertising data, purchase behavior, and then from here get to create advanced analytics or even build audiences. And with that, you can then run experiments, uncover the perfect marketing funnel. And with AMC, you get to craft powerful strategies, finding those hidden patterns, hidden customer journeys that are maybe taking place across your all of your ad types, and take that to the next level with your brand. June, I know you were just mentioning you were at Amazon at the beginning of sponsored ads. How would you compare the launch of AMC to the excitement when sponsored ads was launched?
Yeah, I would say when I was at Amazon and sponsored ads launched, it was effectively like it started with what is sponsored ads to if you're not using sponsored ads, you are leaving so much money on the table. It's not even funny. And I think with AMC, I've never seen something take off as fast as AMC other than sponsored ads. At this point, it's like if you're not using AMC, you are falling behind, not just versus your competitors, but you're falling behind your category. You're falling behind in terms of leaving money on the table, revenue on the table, because AMC, it opens up a world of data that when I was at Amazon, a lot of people were asking me, a lot of my brands were asking me for this kind of data. And a lot of it was just like, just trust me. Like upper funnel works. Just trust me. The data is there, but like it's for your benefit. But now it's like, now you can access all of the data through AMC. And so it's been pretty mind blowing to see the evolution, to see kind of the overall adjustment and evolution of how open Amazon has been with data and how brands can leverage this data to optimize on their strategies and their ad campaigns.
That's perfect. The one thing that you might be asking yourself is why AMC? June was just mentioning some of those business questions that were getting asked back then. Those are still getting asked today. So, who is my most valuable audience segment? What campaigns and creatives are performing best, especially in driving new to brand purchases? How are my sponsored product ads performing with new to brand shoppers? That's a really key one, a new one there as well. How can I retarget these audiences to increase conversions? That retargeting piece with DSP. How should I allocate my budget for different ad types? These are all really critical and important top business questions. And as I was reading off of some of those, you might have had a question that popped into your head that you're wondering about if AMC can answer. Feel free to send those over to us. We've found that there's so much creativity in what the business questions AMC can actually provide insights into, especially with new to brand. That's what we're here today talking about. Touching back on that sponsored ads piece, that's one of those key areas, especially for you as a brand owner, a marketer, where you're wondering, hey, how do I spend my time in the most effective way to drive the best performance in the least amount of time? Tapping into that new to brand insight, those shoppers there, that's where you're going to know where to spend that money, that time to retarget those customers, to change your creative to get in front of those customers that are new to brand. That's available now through AMC. So going to the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about some of those challenges of AMC. I don't know about you, but for me, I first got introduced to AMC through LinkedIn. So I started seeing people talk about it, started seeing people mention the great data and the insights that you could get through AMC, and I had no idea how to get started. It was really daunting. So on top of that, there's a lack of precision in optimizing that data. You couldn't get down to ASIN level or campaign level data outside of using just regular tools. The complex SQL requirements. This is kind of that really key piece, especially for me. I didn't know SQL. I didn't know anybody on my team did. And you need that right now to interface with AMC. It's really time consuming data analysis. Some of the conversations I started to get into is, do we need to hire an additional person to deal with getting these insights out of AMC? We can see the value there. We've heard people talk about it, but analyzing it, getting this data out is really time consuming. And then targeting these audiences can be really efficient without AMC. You don't know where those high value audiences are and how to target them efficiently. So that's really important. Really, one of those key things here is there's so many challenges with just interfacing with AMC. It can be really daunting. June, how has XMAR solved for this? What does that look like?
Yeah, and I'm excited. At the end of this, we'll show a quick demo of XMars, but I think a lot of what we focus on is exactly what Ashley just mentioned. One of the biggest challenges of AMC is number one, people think that there's this massive technical barrier where obviously you have to know SQL, but it's not just SQL, it's Amazon's version of SQL. So there's even like a 10 to 20% variance on the standard SQL language. And so I think what we're doing here at XMars is we've built a no-code solution. And what does that mean? Is that effectively you don't have to know how to write code, SQL, to be able to generate these insights. Our tool, as we'll show, is you'll just click a couple of buttons and you'll be able to generate pretty in-depth reports, very granular reports, and custom audiences with a couple clicks of a button. So I think a lot of what we're focused on is how do we remove that technical barrier as folks from the marketing side, where I don't know a lot of marketing folks, and me included, that know how to write SQL. But I know every marketer can leverage and utilizes AMC data. So it's our job and our focus is how do we bridge that gap to allow marketers to be able to access the AMC data without having to know SQL. Okay, and so a little bit more in terms of kind of what I touched upon from our XMars AMC Hub. Now everybody knows it's a completely no-code solution. What that means is all you have to know is how to move a mouse to be able to leverage AMC data and to access AMC data. We have 10 comprehensive AMC models in terms of reporting, from path to conversion to cross-product association to customer lifetime value, all of these reports that you can generate, like I said, with a couple clicks of a button. Then we have our AMC custom audience tool builder. So this effectively allows folks to be able to create these AMC custom audiences that we've seen outperform standard DSP audiences by 2 to 4x. This is where we get to where we talk about you are actively leaving money on the table if you are not leveraging AMC custom audiences for your DSP campaigns right now. We've seen folks that have built out 100 different AMC custom audiences for their DSP campaigns because of how effective they have been. And then the other unique thing about our tool is the ASIN level granularity that you can get, where a lot of especially if you're pulling from the native AMC console, but potentially other tools, you cannot get ASIN level granularity on a lot of these reports. And as we'll walk through the demo, we'll kind of talk through why that's important and why that's unique from a reporting standpoint as well. So we touched upon kind of the tools, but to highlight a lot of the kind of the 10 comprehensive models, you'll see here some of the unique ones where path to conversion is probably everybody's initial introduction into AMC is, hey, is my upper funnel working, right? Is my upper funnel driving performance? And so we have a path to conversion model that obviously is one of our most popular models. Talked about cross-product association, talked about customer lifetime value. One of our newest models that we'll also run through is search term analysis. As we talk about new to brand, basically, when we show this model to folks, this is the first way, or this is one of the easiest ways to pull new to brand metrics for sponsored product campaigns. I'll say that again, new to brand metrics for sponsored product campaigns. This is something that almost every single one of our customers have been asking us for, and that is one of our newest models that we have launched.
Amazing. Yeah, I know when we first started talking, June, that was one of the key things that I did not have answers to. And now having AMC, such a key thing for being able to understand that, which let's talk about a couple of those use cases here. Scenarios. You might want to reduce wasted spend. Said all executives ever, right? Everybody's been in a room where they're saying, let's reduce spend. You want to increase new to brand shoppers, said all marketers ever, right? That's something we all are looking to do, getting those new to brand shoppers, increasing those that are buying from us. And then also conduct that search term analysis. Get really specific on how keywords produce for your brand. If you're not asking that, you should be. So this is that key part of where you're actually analyzing how keywords are producing. On the next slide, let's talk about our approach to this. We're actually breaking this down in that search term module. So June was just mentioning that where you can visibly see across a bunch of different metrics, but specifically new to brand for sponsored products, that comparison of conversion rates for your search terms. In addition to that, you can identify which search terms specifically are producing new to brand customers. When I hear that, I'm like, holy cow, how actionable is that data? It's not just a pretty chart or some interesting insights you can get into and analyze for your business. It's extremely actionable. You can take this insight and look at retargeting top of search with ample budget. You can set up separate campaigns for these keywords. One of my favorite things that I've started to see brands working with us do is they're actually changing or adjusting their messaging and their creative to target new to brand shoppers with those search terms that they've identified here. That's so powerful. You're speaking directly to your new shoppers. So this is one of those key parts where when we're talking about 10% growth, where do you spend your time as a marketer? Right here. This is where you spend your time to get that impact. This is where you find those new shoppers and really quickly start delivering that action. So, and yeah, let's jump to the next scenario and kind of talk through another thing that you can use when you're talking about AMC, when we're talking new to brand shoppers, but also talking about getting those new to brand shoppers on those key 10 pull events. We've got our Cyber 5 coming up, but then also the ever increasing list, right, of Prime Day events. So we've got our October event coming up. Also, hint, hint, this is coming up really soon. So you better start thinking about it right now and actioning how you might be taking action for this event now, if not really soon. And here's how. Here's some of those ways that you can do that. Retargeting those customers is really key during this time where maybe somebody's engaged with you in a certain way. They've added it to cart. They've engaged with you in the past in adding it to a wish list, or maybe they've clicked on something or they've searched for a certain brand, your own brand or a competitor brand. We've got 10 different conversion events that you can actually set up and retarget these audiences through. When I was on the brand side, there was one that was really key that let's go to the next slide and we'll talk through it here. When I was on the brand side, I saw a couple of different audiences that I wasn't able to tap into without AMC. Um, and one of those was shoppers that have searched for my brand or have viewed my detail page, had also searched or viewed a detail page of competitors, so I knew they were in market, but they had not converted yet. What I'm showing here on this slide is how you can actually create those audiences with those specific detailed conversion actions to get right in front of that high intent shopper. Again, as June was mentioning earlier, this is no code rule based through XMARS. There's those 10 different conversion events that you can layer on top of each other. It's not just one that you can go after, but you can get hyper specific for your brand. And then you can also tap into your first product party audience support with these audiences as well. Pausing there, talk about how powerful, again, is you as a marketer, where you're spending your time. It's getting to those high intent shoppers, those new to brand shoppers, and then retargeting them here. June, what are some other examples that you've seen people deploy with audience targeting?
Oh my gosh, I've seen people go crazy with this audience targeting because I think one of the biggest things with audience building, whether it's a tool or through the native console, is sometimes through the native console it's difficult, as we talked about. Like you have to know SQL, and it takes a lot of time. And what we've done with our AMC hub and the audience creation that we'll show is not just how easy it is, but how fast it is. And the important thing of how fast you can build these audiences is how fast you can optimize these audiences. And so I go back to that example of somebody targeting or a brand's creating 100 plus AMC custom audiences. It's not just like, hey, let's create these 100 AMC custom audiences and then set it and forget it. It's let's create these 100 custom audiences and see which ones are doing well and why they're doing well, and then go back into the XMARS AMC hub and then build upon those audiences with new conversion events. So it's been really interesting and really exciting to see how people have leveraged these AMC custom audiences to really build out campaigns and structures and really rethink how they're approaching DSP overall. So a couple of key points before we dive into the demo here as well. I want to talk about a couple of stories and success stories because I think that's also really important to kind of conceptualize how impactful this can be. So we had one of our customers, Greenworks, that achieved a 12.3% growth in new to brand customers during Prime Day with how they leveraged AMC. And so obviously now with AMC, everybody knows you've kind of moved away from this last touch attribution world and have opened up the funnel to truly see what's working on the upper funnel to drive those lower funnel conversions. What's even more unique is that you can see from the upper funnel campaigns that you're driving, whether it be Prime Video, whether it be DSP awareness campaigns, whether it be XYZ, those upper funnel campaigns, you can now see which of those are driving new to brand customers and with very, very granular insights. And without AMC, it's just a very difficult, nearly impossible to do that. And AMC has opened up this world where now, if you understand what upper funnel tactics are driving the most new to brand customers, you're able to now, like I said, continue to optimize, continue to refine, and continue to be much smarter and much more efficient with the dollars that you're spending versus taking guesstimates around like what's working and what's not. So it was pretty exciting to see how Greenworks leverage the AMC hub, leverage the custom audiences that kind of defined their strategy going into Prime Day, and kind of the results of Prime Day were pretty spectacular. Um, the other case study that we wanted to show was Goal Zero. And Goal Zero, in terms of how much the AMC and kind of the multi-touch attribution model that we'll show really impacted the sales that they had on Prime Day and how that influenced their strategy as well. So our multi-touch attribution model, in short, like I said before we hop into this demo, in short, is effectively a way to now understand down to a very granular level what the amount of budget you should be putting into each and every single one of the campaigns. It basically does a historical analysis of all your DSP campaigns and each individual campaign and says you should be investing 5% of your dollars here. You should be investing 10% of your dollars into this campaign, and 20% of your dollars into this campaign. And so it gets you that level of granularity in terms of what and where you should be investing your dollars. And then it also optimizes for new to brand. So we'll walk through that in the demo here, but that is, again, obviously one of our most popular tools. One of the reasons why outside of Goal Zero is we've had major brands, small to large brands, leverage our multi-touch attribution model. And one of the brands where they were spending over $20 million a year on ad spend, it increased their conversion rate by 15.9%. So Goal Zero, other brands, other major brands, both small, medium, large, all have leveraged our AMC hub with multi-touch attribution, with custom audiences to really drive performance in a pretty unique way that wasn't possible without AMC. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and pull up our AMC hub and do a quick demo. So give me 1 second here, guys, and bear with me as I go ahead and pull that up. Okay, so this is, and if you guys on the webinar haven't seen it before, this is our AMC hub, right? And to be able to, and maybe to take a step back, to be able to connect an instance, a lot of the questions that we get is, okay, this looks great, but how easy is it to actually create an instance, plug in an instance, and get going? It literally takes maybe less than 5 minutes. All it takes is a couple clicks of a button. If you already have an AMC instance, it takes a couple of clicks of a button. Your instance is connected into our AMC hub. And then within less than 48 hours, the data should be flowing into this. So you should be able to access a lot of the reports that I'll review here. So what I want to touch on are a couple of these key models. So path to conversion, like I said, is basically everybody's introduction into the AMC world. Because as we touched upon, the last touch attribution model, now AMC has opened that up. And what our path to conversion model allows everyone to do is they're now able to understand all of the upper funnel tactics that they're running, and then be able to immediately filter with a couple clicks of a button, no SQL at all, as you guys are seeing, where let's say I want to see all the paths to conversion that began with DSP and then let's say ended with sponsor products. And then obviously new to brand is a key focus for everyone. And so let's also pull in new to brand metric analysis. And then just for example's sake, so we can clean up and showcase these metrics in a pretty easy way. Let's remove some of these other metrics, do a preview. Obviously, this is all demo data, but what you can now do is you have all of these conversion events. Now you can sort through all of these different conversions and see which of these paths of conversion drove the most total new to brand purchases. Now, as you can see, this is all kind of at the ad product level. What our tool allows every single person to do is drill down into specific campaigns. So you can literally see, hey, I want to analyze not just DSP sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. I want to analyze all my Prime Video campaigns. And so what you're able to do now is with the AMC instance plugged in, you'll be able to drill down into the campaign orders. And then obviously this is all demo data, but then you can scroll down to, let's say, all of your DSP campaigns that automatically flood into now our AMC hub. And let's say demo campaign number 78, 79, 80, 81, and 82 are all your Prime Video campaigns. And so effectively what happens there is then you create this blue bubble called Prime Video campaigns. You click save as a new model. And then what happens is these blue bubbles that are initially labeled DSP will now turn into Prime Video. And then you can now run the same analysis that I just did here of figuring out what are the Prime Video campaigns that are driving the most total new to brand purchases, and then leverage that information and that reporting and insights, and then optimize and redistribute budget based upon which Prime Video campaigns are working and which campaigns aren't. So this has been, like I said, from an analysis standpoint, it's just been, as you guys can see how simple it was. I don't know any SQL, and you're able to do that analysis. And one of the unique things about our platform is that you can, as I mentioned above, you can drill down into specific ASINs. So it's not just campaign level analysis, it's actually ASIN level analysis that you can see and group together to run this path to conversion, and group some ASINs together to run this analysis on a group of ASINs rather than just campaigns. So I'm going to hop out of path to conversion, and I want to talk about a couple of other different models that we have here. So, as we talked about, Prime Day, Big Deals Day is coming up. And this was probably one of the most popular models that we had for the Prime Day in July. And the reason why it was so popular is effectively cross product association. And this model is one of the best ways to dictate and increase your basket sizes. And I'll show you how. So what this cross product association model is basically telling you guys is based upon a specific hero ASIN that you have the ability to designate. You have the ability, and what this model immediately tells you is based upon that hero ASIN, once a customer reaches that specific detail page, what ASINs are they buying together with that specific ASIN? So it literally will tell you what ASINs should be the most should be bundled together because people are buying it in one specific order. So that's one aspect. It will also tell you if they go to a specific ASIN and they don't purchase that ASIN, but they go to another ASIN, it'll tell you what ASINs they are buying in a separate purchase, right? So as an alternative purchase, instead of that ASIN, what other ASINs after they go to that detail page view or that detail page are they buying instead? So a lot of folks have leveraged this data, and the insights that they've been able to generate is that's interesting. They're going to our cheaper ASIN here and actually going to the more expensive ASIN and buying that ASIN instead. And so those insights propelled them for Prime Day is like, okay, well, if they're going to the cheaper ASIN, but they know that within our catalog, there is a lot of indication that they're actually more willing to buy our more expensive ASIN, we should be retargeting those specific advertisers for every single person that's going to that ASIN with this other more expensive ASIN. And so, as you think about a lot of these strategies and the granular level of strategies, you have the ability to now focus on what do we cross sell, what do we bundle together, and then what do we upsell to really maximize on key days like Prime Day, which is a no brainer for Q4 for Big Deals Day. But in all actuality, this should just be an always on approach, right? Because now you have the granular level of insights to inform basically an always on strategy of what to cross sell, bundle, and upsell. And like I said, you have the ability to drill down into the specific ASINs. So you have the ability to change the specific hero ASIN. And then you have the ability, as we think about and as kind of a little bit more advanced users have looked at, is to leverage not just the AMC data, but also the FSI data as well, which is one of the paid features on Amazon, where you have the ability to leverage FSI data, which means not just ad exposed user data, but you are now opening it up to people that weren't even ad exposed as well and opening up the entire universe of customers for you guys. So super compelling information as you think about it. We've had people that have increased their ROAS by 2x just because they were able to increase their basket sizes. We had people that were targeting a 20% increase in basket sizes on Prime Day specifically, just by leveraging this data and reports to be able to feed into their strategy going into Prime Day. Okay, a couple more that I wanted to show is one of them is multi-touch attribution. And this is where we talked about with the goal zero use case, with a lot of these other advertisers. As I mentioned, one of the advertisers was spending over $20 million a year in advertising, and they leveraged this multi-touch attribution model to increase their conversion rate by 15.9%. And what this model is effectively doing is it's reviewing all of the historical performance of your DSP campaigns, your sponsored product campaigns, your sponsored brand campaigns, and your sponsored display campaigns. Basically, everything that you have done as an advertiser. And what it's doing is it's running very advanced machine learning algorithms on top of all of those campaigns. And it's literally telling you, instead of going in and guessing, hey, we should allocate X amount of budget here for sponsored products and X amount of budget for DSP, et cetera, it's actually doing math and basically saying, if you are optimizing for purchase, or let's say new to brand purchase, if you are optimizing for new to brand purchase, you should actually be investing more dollars. Right now, your original budget allocation is 41.67%. It should actually be 53.59% instead. And instead of taking the guesswork out of it, it's taking AI and machine learning, reviewing all that campaign history, taking very advanced math, and actually telling you down to that specific percentage of where you should be investing what in terms of dollars. Now, that's at the ad product level. All of our campaigns and all of our reporting models, you can drill down into the campaign. And as I mentioned, the ASIN level. So let's say you want not to analyze all of DSP sponsored products, but you want to analyze the 10 different DSP campaigns that you got that folks are spending, let's say 70% of your budget on. Or 60%, however much. And so you can do a DSP campaign analysis where you take all of your, let's just say, these are the 10 different DSP campaigns that I want to analyze. I think that's 10. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, great. And then what you could do then is you create save as new model. And what this model will now tell you from a multi-touch attribution standpoint is not DSP, sponsor brands, sponsor displays, sponsor products, but it'll literally tell you within those 10 different DSP campaigns that you've invested X amount of dollars here, X amount of dollars here, X amount of dollars here. It'll tell you for those 10 DSP campaigns how you should rethink your budget for new to brand purchases. If you want to optimize for new to brand purchases, how you should invest your dollars differently for those specific 10 different DSP campaigns. So very powerful from a strategy, from a planning standpoint, but also from a performance standpoint, because obviously that's what's most important is performance. And this model effectively takes the guesswork out of it and really implements math, learning strategy to be able to dictate your budget and ad strategy. Um, Let's go here and then move over to the customer lifetime value as well. So customer lifetime value, this was probably one of the most requested models that we built out. And this was all based upon customer requests. And so customer lifetime value is pretty self-explanatory, but I also want to give the caveat that it is a 12 and a half month look back window, not a full customer lifetime value. And that's really more of kind of right now Amazon's decision to have that data only be a look back of 12 and a half months. But that's on the basis of what this model is built on, where 12 and a half months is still, I would say, better than zero. So with this model, what it specifically tells you is Obviously, you guys see all the metrics here of customer acquisition cost, lifetime value. But one of the more unique ways that people have leveraged this data is I actually think this is more indicative and more telling of how you should be looking at your campaign success versus ROAS. Like I think we talk about it all the time. Like ROAS is an outdated metric, right? If you're using ROAS, obviously it's an important metric, but I think there's better metrics like new to brand ROAS or leveraging AMC to analyze your reports that if you're not doing now, you're kind of living a little bit of in an outdated world in terms of your analysis. And I'll give you one great example. We had a advertiser come in here, and historically they spent the large majority of their budget on two specific campaigns. One was generating a 2x ROAS, and one was generating a 4x ROAS. Now, obviously, I understand that it's not apples to apples. There's nuances to all these different campaigns, but anecdotally, this was the story that they gave us. So traditionally, they spent a lot of money on their 4x ROAS campaigns and their 2x ROAS campaign. They plugged each of those campaigns and ran an analysis of each of those campaigns by clicking campaigns. You guys have seen me do this, so I'm not going to go through the whole process. But they were able to choose a specific campaign and they ran the analysis and they saw that the lifetime value and total sales that the 2x ROAS campaign generated was actually more than the 4x ROAS, actually more than the 4x ROAS campaign that it was generating in terms of total sales. And that was pretty eye opening for them because obviously they assumed the Forex ROAS would be the one that generated more total sales. And so they started shifting more of their ad budget towards the 2x ROAS campaign little by little, and they continue to see incremental growth for their account. And that's again, these are the analysis that only AMC opens up, right? Like with this data and with AMC, that's kind of where the AMC reporting analytics shine is being able to run analysis on these campaigns that you just weren't able to do before without AMC. And so that was a very indicative example of why these models are so powerful. And again, you can drill down customer lifetime value. You can actually leverage FSI data, so not just ad exposed users, but now you can see the entire portfolio of customers. And then you can drill down into campaigns and you can even drill down into specific ASINs. So which ASINs are driving the most lifetime value total sales for your overall brand or advertiser. Okay, so one last model that I wanted to touch upon here, and Ashley covered this at beforehand, but is our search term analysis. So this is one of, or this is the newest model that we have launched, and as a team, we're constantly launching models. I think one of the more unique things about XMARS is we've consistently been kind of the innovators in the space of launching the most comprehensive models. And so what this model is effectively telling us is this is one of the easiest ways, if not one of the probably the most automated ways of pulling new to brand metrics for sponsored products, which is not available through the native console. And so this model allows you to do that. It also tells you specifically, and again, Ashley touched upon this, but the relevancy of a specific keyword to conversion. So now you can start looking at specific search terms and all of these different metrics and be able to understand and analyze based upon that specific search term. Not all search terms are created equal. So, what search terms do we basically leveraging this model? What is this model telling us in terms of specific search terms that we should make sure that we are winning, right? And so, this model from a search term analysis, from a new to brand sponsored product analysis, and as you guys can see here, you can click into that settings model and you can pull in all of these total new to brand product sales, new to brand, and then click confirm and you'll just add those specific metrics into this reporting and analysis and be able to understand for, let's say, a curved monitor, what is the new to brand purchase rate and new to brand sales that it's generated for sponsored products. So again, something that everybody has been asking us for, something that we show folks. And I mean, obviously new to brand for sponsored products is just such a valuable metric that people aren't able to get otherwise. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through all of these different models. There are a lot, obviously, models that we haven't even touched upon. So if you guys obviously want a full demo, we are happy to do one. Just reach out. But I'm going to go to audience creation now because I think this is one of the most valuable tools from a performance standpoint. It's basically how you take all those reporting, analytics, and insights and then start generating performance off of it. So we talked about some of these standard audiences that, again, if you're not using AMC custom audiences for your DSP campaigns right now, I would do that literally yesterday. Like that should be the next thing after you get off this webinar is you should start looking into AMC custom audiences and how to start pushing those into your DSP campaigns. There, you're able to build AMC custom audiences like add to cart, but I've never purchased. Like these are custom audiences. These are audiences that should be in the standard DSP console, but for some reason just aren't. And the only way that you can use these are with AMC custom audiences. And so add to cart, but I've never purchased. But when Ashley was touching upon all the conversion events, you'll see here that you can actually create these custom audiences, not just based upon people that have added to cart but have never purchased, but people that have visited a detail page view that have never purchased, people that have added to wish list, baby registry, wedding registry, people that have ordered more than 5 times. And so they're a high value custom audience that you want to be able to retarget, or as one of the examples Ashley gave was keyword searches. So I think this is probably one of the most popular audience targeting segments because as you think about it, you are now combining the best of both worlds, where sponsored ads, very specific, very efficient based upon keywords, but it's reactive. You're waiting for somebody to type in a keyword before you can show them an ad. DSP, it's very proactive, right? It has a lot of reach, but it's less efficient because of the targeting mechanisms. You're not targeting based upon keywords. And what this AMC custom audience now allows you to do is you are literally able to combine sponsored ads level targeting with DSP campaign proactiveness and reach. Like this should be the holy grail of custom audiences for everyone here. And so these are ways where that is just the surface level. Where it gets even more interesting is now what I've seen is people start building out these custom audiences. And this is something that is so simple to do with our AMC custom audience tool is not just people that have added to cart, but have never purchased, but people that have added to cart and have never purchased and have also visited a detail page view more than 3 times. And then let's say have ordered more than 5 times. Like these and or exclusion statements start getting so granular, so complex in terms of strategy that it's opened up this whole new world in terms of strategy, mechanics of how you can go about targeting customers. As I mentioned, this is why I think we've seen brands, advertisers create these custom audiences that have over 100 different AMC custom audiences in one of their in their DSP strategy, just because of how effective they are. And so you can start building out all those different conversion events. Common question is, can you target based upon people that have clicked on a specific ad, or can you target by specific impressions? Obviously, the answer is yes. And some of the other unique things about our platform and kind of the value add is it actually automatically updates the audience for you. So you don't have to go in and build these new audiences every single month. It'll literally start pulling in new audiences that fit within this criteria, and it'll automatically do that and automatically optimize these audiences for you. You can adjust the dates, you can adjust the audience type, whether it's target audience or a lookalike audience. And then effectively with a couple clicks of a button, you are now able to push these custom audiences into your DSP console and they're live within 48 hours. That's how easy it is. And so we've seen people build 50, 60 different custom audiences in probably in honestly in an hour, 2 hours that it would have taken them a day or weeks if they had to wait for a data science or their data science team to build out these custom audiences, come back to them, wait to launch, and then go back to the data science team. It just completely streamlines the entire operations of how you think about AMC, how you think about custom audiences, how you think about DSP optimization. And this is where people are really getting a leg up. Like the amount of optimizations, how fast they're able to move versus somebody that's not leveraging AMC, that's not leveraging no code tools. It's been pretty significant to see just how fast people have moved. So that's an overview of our AMC hub from a model perspective, as well as kind of an audience creation perspective of being able to build out these audiences, being able to build out and leverage these reporting and analytics and these models to be able to feed into the campaigns that that every single person here is leveraging and generating on their own. So I'm gonna go back here and continue to go back and forth via
Yeah, and while you're
the.
doing that, goodness, it's so powerful reviewing these models and the insights that you can unlock with these. Talk about upper funnel marketing with high intention. Like, that's just not always possible. You want to have an upper funnel strategy, but having a high intention audience that you're going after is so critical. And goodness, I've been in so many conversations with different metrics, customer lifetime value, new to brand, where our data team was literally guessing on those metrics, and we were taking massive budget adjustments or changing the way we were doing our advertising strategy based off of guesses. And now you don't have to. And that's so, so powerful. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, actually, I think a question there before we kind of wrap things up is like, obviously, you have been on the brand side and then you've also been on the agency side. As you think about like Prime Big Deals Day coming up and these large temple key events, for people that are listening now, especially like as relevant as Prime Big Deal Days is coming up, like what would be like one or two recommendations for folks to think about as they think about strategy, new to brand, that you would tell folks?
Yeah, it's really key, especially leading up to those events that you have a strategy in place. You're not creating your strategy, a week before those events, but you're setting up these audiences or these metrics that you want to start measuring before those Prime Day events or Cyber 5 or what have you. The other thing that I'd really encourage you to think about is if you're running deals or you're trying to attract new customers, how are you tapping into that new to brand shopper after those deal events? How are you getting back into retargeting them? They've already purchased from you. How do you keep that customer lifetime value strong? Well, it's through these AMC instance modules or audience creation as well. So marry this with your deal strategy as you're going into these Prime Day events. I think that's going to be really critical as you're trying to attract those new shoppers on those high traffic deal days.
Yeah, 100%. I think some of the key things as well to add on to that is as you guys think about your Prime Day strategy of July, there's probably a bunch of traffic that came into your detail pages for those 2 days. A lot of folks, you can start thinking about how do we leverage that traffic and retarget those folks that came into our detail page views on Prime Day who are discount seekers, that are looking for promotions, that are looking to buy products at a discounted rate and be able to retarget them through, like I said, and as Ashley just mentioned, AMC custom audiences of people that visited a detailed page view during that specific time frame, build out those AMC custom audiences, build out those retargeting segments, and be able to target those folks that not just leverage Prime Day, but really any big tentpole event, and then be able to retarget those folks as well. So
Mm.
again, AMC has just opened up this entire world of reporting analytics and performance-driven metrics and performance-driven optimizations that really you just can't do without AMC, and you are falling behind if you are not using AMC. So, any final things that you want to touch upon, Ashley,
No,
on
I
your end?
think I think we're good. I think we've got a couple of questions.
Okay.
I'll ask you this, June. I think you'd be great to ask this. How is XMARS different than other no-code AMC tools?
Yeah, that's a question that we get all the time. I think one of the biggest things around our tool that's different than other tools is with AMC, we know we have the most comprehensive models. In terms of those 10 comprehensive models, we're continually pushing the bounds of what models that we should launch into and launch for our users, evident by that search term analysis model. And so we have the most comprehensive models, and then our AMC custom audience builder tool is also the most comprehensive in the space. And then also, as we talked about, the ASIN level granularity. To be able to dig into ASIN level granularity for reporting, analytics, and insights across those models that we touched upon, like path to conversion, like customer lifetime value. One of the other really unique use cases that have come up is being able to target ASIN level granularly for these reports for, let's say, larger agencies or brands that have everything under one AMC instance, which has been something that we've heard. Being able to group by ASIN allows you to group by sub brands. So now you can do reporting by sub brand, by sub brand, by sub brand, by brand, which you just can't without ASIN level targeting because you have no way of separating those brands under one AMC instance if you didn't really have ASIN. The best way to do that if you didn't have ASIN level granularity would be campaign by campaign for each brand, but that gets very muddy in terms of the reporting and analytics, where ASIN is a very clean way to break out those reporting and insights.
Hmm, I love that. That's great. One of the other questions we have is what is the learning curve for AMC and how can my team start using it? I'll just start off by mentioning I was exposed to AMC when it was first launched. In fact, I remember getting an AMC report download from our ad manager, and it was a mess. I didn't know what to do it, so the learning curve felt pretty high. I didn't have access to the data, and it was shared over in a pretty messy format. But it is there. And so, however, coming over to XMARS, you can get started with it within a few days and take action almost immediately once you have those modules built. As we were just showcasing some of those, I'm sure you are all thinking of like, oh, here's how I might action this, or here's an insight I might take from something like that within my own brand. So the learning curve with XMARS is pretty fast. You can create those modules in a matter of minutes. I don't know, June, what are your thoughts on the learning curve with it?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. And I think probably the biggest learning curve is just to get over the fear of trying something new. Like
Mm,
I think once people just dive into the product, connecting an AMC instance, getting an AMC instance for anybody is free. So it doesn't matter if you work with XMARS, if you work with anybody else, getting an AMC instance for yourself as a brand is completely free, directly through Amazon. So once you get an AMC instance, now it's just a matter of having the tools to be able to generate those reporting and insights. And I think once people understand that it's really not that scary, it's just about being able to say, okay, I'm going to spend 2 hours. 2 hours, I'm going to get our AMC instance, I'm going to get plugged in, and then I'm going to start playing around with the tool. After that, it's all no code. It's all picking and choosing, reporting and insights. You kind of see people's eyes light up there once they actually start understanding how easy it is to actually use. I mean, we do these dinners all the time here at XMARS where we get folks from the industry together, different brands, different agencies, and that's a common question is how hard or like we're scared of AMC because of the technical barrier. Well, okay, well, the technical barrier has been solved. And so what else is a concern is that after that it's like, okay, what are the right questions to be asking? And so that's where I think the strategy and just kind of digging deep and diving deep, spending a couple of hours, because at the end of the day, it's I really do think, and I've seen this already. AMC is taking the same trajectory as sponsored ads, and I can still remember when I was at Amazon telling people about sponsored ads and then being like, no, I don't need to worry about sponsored ads. And now everybody uses sponsored ads, and that's going to be the exact same scenario with AMC. So it's just a matter of diving in, and once you dive in, I think it really kind of takes care of itself.
yeah, I think you touched on something there that was really key, as well as what question should I be asking? That's another kind of key learning curve, as well as how should I be interpreting or how should I be asking the data's there. What question should I ask? One of my favorite things that we have in XMARS is there actually is like a little question box at the top that you can browse through. So I found popping into there, I'm like, oh, I should be asking that question about my business. Why have I not been? And you can click it and it'll take you right to the module that will solve that question for you. So it'll look really good in some of those boardrooms or those marketing conversations where like, I'm asking these questions and here's how I've solved for it. So totally agree on that. And anything else to say on what are the steps to getting started with AMC?
No, I think it's like I said, it's very simple. And as I mentioned, to get your own AMC instance completely free. I will repeat that. To get your AMC instance is completely free. Work with your Amazon rep. If you guys need help getting an AMC instance, please reach out to us and we're more than happy to help just overall get you guys set up with an AMC instance. I think the process, what people ask us after that is, okay, we have our AMC instance. How long does it take to plug into the AMC hub of what you guys have built? And it's literally, I'm not even kidding, a couple clicks of a button. So it takes less than 5 minutes of connecting if you have an AMC instance into our AMC hub. And then it's a 48-hour to 72-hour wait time where you're waiting for that DSP sponsored ads data to filter into our AMC hub. And then after that, you guys saw the demo, you guys saw me walk through the platform. After that, it's really just Once you have that data, you can run all of these reporting, all of these insights. You can start building out these AMC custom audiences right after those 72 hours, 48 to 72 hours. So it's a very, very straightforward process. It's not hard at all. From an AMC instance standpoint, if you don't have an AMC instance, highly, highly encourage everyone to get one, because it really is just a complete game changer in terms of the data that you can get and the optimizations that you can make.
That's perfect. I think as you were touching on that, that was another one of those moments when I was on the brand side where, oh, the hours, the time I spent trying to solve this myself, as you were just talking about how simple, how it's a matter of clicks, there is a process, there is a system to getting these insights immediately. I'm like, whew, how much time I spent in the past trying to solve this for myself. And certainly you could, but we're ready and we're here to help you find those insights right away. There's one last question. Yes, we will send the recording of this out after the call, so you can rewatch this. If there's any questions you have when you're rewatching, feel free to reach out to us afterwards as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, whether it's via the website, whether it's directly through Ashley, or to me as well. Please reach out. Please connect with us on LinkedIn. We love talking about AMC. We love talking about these conversations. So we are always open to anybody reaching out. And obviously, with Big Deals Day coming up and some of these key Cyber 5 and the holidays, really think about how you can leverage AMC to maximize new to brand growth, because I think that is going to be the theme of conversation for this upcoming Q4. Okay, I think that just about wraps it up. Thank you everyone for joining and have a great rest of your day.